We're going to be joined today by the legendary and wonderful Mr. Sylvester McCoy. I don't think he heard you. So we're going to be patient for Mr. Sylvester as he gets up here because he's got some motoring to do. But again, thanks everyone for coming. And Sylvester will be here in 2 seconds. He's coming now. Yeah.
Working. Good. Gosh, hello. I feel very short up here. I feel like a dwarf or some program that I'm not allowed to mention. Oh, I can talk about The Hobbit now, can't I?
Speaking of The Hobbit, for all of us who grew up watching you in Doctor Who and have watched your career, I can think of no one that deserves the accolades and fame and awesomeness that comes with getting a part of The Hobbit than you. So congratulations.
Thank you.
And you are absolutely amazing in it. I just want to say that really, sincerely, you are incredible in The Hobbit.
That's why I owe you.
Yeah, sure. Which leads me into my first question for The Hobbit. When I saw the movie, I noticed the costume. And I have to ask, the bird part, the bird dripping stuff, that wasn't real, right?
Oh yes, of course it was. I mean, they get little birds come in every day, and they'd fly around me and then they'd shit down my face.
So did you just leave it on the costume then, or?
Sorry?
When you had the costume with the bird shit on it, did you just leave it, or then was that all makeup?
We left it and just added to it.
So, how is working in New Zealand?
Well, it's like being upside down in Britain. It kind of goes to your head a bit. Well, it's very much like Britain. The weather's not much different. A bit better. The far fewer people, which is glorious to experience. Working with Peter Jackson has been, wow, an amazing experience. And with most of New Zealand, because they're all in it, weren't they? I mean, there's only about 5 New Zealanders in the world, aren't there? They're all in The Hobbit.
So, Doctor Who is turning 50 in November.
Yeah, young man.
And
I just turned an age as well recently.
30?
Yeah.
So I wanted to get your sort of overall thoughts on the 50th anniversary because you were such a vital part of the legacy of the show, and just as an actor to be involved in something that big, what has it meant to you so far?
Well, I mean, when I first got the job, I had no idea that 26 years later I'd be part of a huge worldwide celebration of his 50th birthday. Quite extraordinary and delightful. And also in a way, I found, kind of quite pleased, because when it finished, when I killed it off, I knew it would come back. I mean, I really believed it would come back, but other people said, no, it won't, it's gone now, that's it, it's been... So Sophie and I kind of carried on making pirate videos, changing the names, from Doctor to Master, Professor to Dominie, and all the other funny names we came up with. And then we carried on doing audio dramas of it, which have continued to this day. And we've kept it alive, as did the fans, because I knew it wouldn't die because the fan base wanted it. I just knew that. It's just the people around the BBC were out of touch with the fans, and didn't realise what they've got. And then when they brought it back rather nervously, 9 years later, wow, just blew everyone away. Thank goodness, it's great. It's a joy to be part of the celebration of it. 50 years. It's interesting, it's the 50th, it's quite an interesting year for 50 years, because we're in Atlanta. I'm one of the great sons of Atlanta. Martin Luther King, his speech was 50 years ago. Yes, that's great. And then there's a very sad 50th anniversary, which happened on the same night as Doctor Who went out, which was the assassination of Kennedy. So that's another 50th anniversary. But anyway, let's celebrate the ones that are, celebratory.
If your doctor were to come back in an anniversary special, how would you have played him against Matt Smith? Would he be serious? Would he be making fun of him? How do you think the dynamic between both of them would be?
I don't know really. When I heard that they were giving the role to a 12-year-old, it's not going to work. It just will not work. I mean, there's no way. I always believed quite strongly for a long time that the Doctor, being an older superhero, was very valuable to society in its own way, because especially in the Anglo-Saxon world, we treat our old people not as well as Latin countries do, and other countries, and Indian and Asian and Chinese. They all really respect their older citizens. We Anglo-Saxons don't, for some reason. And what was great was to have a superhero who was old. And so therefore many children, watched it in Britain, Doctor Who. They would look up to that person and look at old people and think, oh, that's a superhero. And he's not wearing his underpants outside his trousers. He's wearing them on his head, he's so gaga. But anyway, I just thought that was a good thing, So when they started getting younger and younger, I didn't really approve. But Matt Smith, I thought, was astonishingly good. He's got the most amazing face. It is an alien face, and I mean it in the nicest possible way, really. But it is, it's an extraordinary face, and you look at it and it could be any age. It's absolutely a great Doctor Who face. And he is a great Doctor Who, and he will be a great Doctor Who. But I'm delighted to say that it's going back to a more mature Doctor, because the next one, Peter Garibaldi, no, that's not his name. Peter Capaldi. He's 50, I think. That's the same age as William Hartnell was when he did it, I believe. My goodness, he did look old in those days. 50-year-olds, 50 years ago, look much older than nowadays, don't they? I mean, but it's also what's great is that you've got a Scot playing the Doctor. You know what I mean? Another one. I quite liked it that I was the only one who did it with a slightly Scottish accent. David Tennant didn't. People got upset in Scotland. They phoned me up in newspapers and said, "Oh, you're Sylvester, have you heard Peter Tennant? No, David Tennant's not doing it in Scottish." What do you think? I thought, I don't know what to say, except that, for him it's easy to do a Scottish accent. It's harder, perhaps, to do an English one, and therefore it's a bigger challenge, and therefore that's why, perhaps, he wanted to play him with an estuary accent, as we call it. It's kind of the same kind of accent that Tony Blair had, kind of posh, but dropping your H's every now and again. So that was quite interesting, but I used to fantasize that perhaps if they'd have given it to another Scot like Billy Connolly, open the TARDIS door and come out and said, "Oh my God, look at that planet." It's after a few, speakers goes like that. So it will be interesting to see what his doctor's accent is going to be like. He's going to be a great doctor because he is a brilliant actor. So I'm looking forward to that, and also again the mature doctor. It will be interesting though when they get the companion, because in the old days it didn't really, people weren't so worried about an older man with a young girl taking her into a police box. But nowadays I think they'll get arrested. Anyway, that's something we can look forward to seeing.
But do you think if the 7th Doctor met the 11th Doctor that it would be amicable, or would it be sort of weird?
Oh no, I think it'd be great. I mean, yeah. From what I've heard, and it's very difficult to watch, but a lot of people have said that they've seen a lot of me in Matt Smith's portrayal, and myself and Patrick Troughton. They've seen that, and if that's so, then it's very flattering. And therefore, I think he got on really well with him. He might tease him for being so young, and Matt might tease me for being so old, really. But that would be, we're both Smiths, technically. Have the same tartan, so because my real name, I'm not the real McCoy. Some of you most likely knew that, but I am something else, and it ends in Smith. Darcy James Patrick Kent hyphen Smith. He's Matt Smith. And we both have a tartan called Smith tartan. So we could be the Smith. Dr. Smith and Smith.
So, I wanted to ask you a little bit about when you become the Doctor. You become sort of a very sort of elite group of people. There's only like a handful on the planet that actually took on the role, and it's sort of like a fraternity kind of. What is your relationship like, or what's it like when you are with other doctors, when you hang out with them, or when you see each other? I mean, do you watch an episode and like just call Colin on the phone and say, did you see that, it was terrible, and you laugh at it, or, what's it like when you interact with the other doctors?
Well, no, actually, I don't think we watch each other, really, much. I mean, I dip into it. I mean, partly because of my lifestyle, because I've been working all over the world, and recently, especially the last 3 years, I've hardly been home, and I've missed out lots of episodes of Doctor Who. But no, we kind of meet at conventions or in work sometimes. I mean, Peter and I, we did 2 shows together. A Christmas called Pantomimes, it's kind of very British kind of shows. We did that twice, and I meet Colin a lot. We tease each other. I tease. He says that, in fact, as he didn't turn up for the regeneration, that means he's still the Doctor, and we're all, we have no right to it. I tease him because he couldn't be bothered to turn up for work, so I had to take over his job. And they put me in his costume, and they lost me for 3 days. So we kind of, that's how we communicate. But I think we're all very fond of each other, really. I'm very fond of them, anyway. There is a feeling, there is a kind of a special kind of relationship that somehow we've done this extraordinary part, a television part, and it is a great part for an actor to do, because you can do anything with it. You can go from, high comedy to low tragedy. Dead low, you can be dead. Buried. So yeah, it's good.
And what type of relationships did you have, if any, with Patrick Troughton or John Pertwee? Did they give you any advice on taking on the role, or? Well,
sadly, I never met Patrick. He died. He was in Georgia. He was Columbus, wasn't it? Columbus, Georgia. I, funnily enough, was in Washington. And I was just about to go on stage for one of my first conventions, and someone came out and gave me a note and said, could you please announce to the audience that, he died? And I did. It wasn't the happiest of conventions after that, I can tell you. But John Pertwee and I became great mates. We actually became great friends. And it was a joy to meet him and work with him on the convention circuit. He was a very funny man. and taught me a lot. I was very fond of him. But sadly, I never met Patrick. I'd like to have done, because he was my first Doctor. He was the one I liked. When people say, who's your favourite Doctor, I always say Patrick, because it's the first one I saw. And so, anyway, the advice was, Patrick's advice came via Peter Davidson, bizarrely. It was, only do 3 years. That's what Patrick told Peter, and then Peter told me. And we only did 3 years.
And I was looking
Tom
up...
Baker did 7, and he believes he is the Doctor.
Yeah. I was going to get to that. I was going to get to Tom Baker, because you see him once in a while too, and I hear that interacting with Tom Baker is interesting, with quotation marks, and I'm just wondering, is that true?
Well, yeah, he is an astonishing man, really. He's got great wit. He comes from another planet, definitely. He is the Doctor. And we were all just acting it. He was being it, really. He's a wonderful, funny man. But, you know, he seems to be in another world, his own world. And, you know, if you're lucky enough, he might invite you in every now and again.
Mm-hmm. And I read that you have a couple projects that you've sort of worked on, something called the Christmas Candle.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, it's kind of a piece that it's like slightly Dickensian. It's in a way like the Christmas Carol, but not with Dickens's dark, wonderful dark side in it. Mm-hmm. This is a kind of a sweet piece about a miraculous candle that every 25 years brings a miracle to whoever lights it at Christmas. And I play the candle maker, and it's, you know, an angel comes down and blesses the candle, which is quite fascinating, really, because it was made with money. You know, the producers were all deep and, you know, Christian people and prayed a lot, and all the actors and the crew were all atheists. So it was made for an interesting mix when we were asked to kneel down and pray. But it was a beautiful piece. It was lovely. I mean, I hope it works when it comes out. It's a very touching piece. And James Cosmo, who's here, marvelous man. He was in it, and yeah, it's great to do.
And I read some away, like a red claw thing. It was listed on IMDb as you being in. So maybe someone owes you a check.
Red Claw Way. I mean, I might have done something. You know, half the time I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know the name of it. Yeah. I just turn up and go, yeah, well, what do you want me? What do I do? I did something recently, which was it was for Geeks Week on YouTube. Has that come out yet? Have they done it? Have they celebrated it? And we made a little film in it, and the idea was to try and create new superheroes. I don't know if it's come out, I don't know if it's been seen, but anyway, I did that recently. That might have been Red Claw Week or something. Greek.
So, your early career, you were selling tickets, you were a theater ticket seller?
Yes, I worked in the box office in the Roundhouse in London, England.
Which is not New Zealand.
No, and it was upside down.
What was that experience like for you, and did that give you anything to take with you as a performer later in your career?
Well, it was great. I mean, it was very relaxed. It was the hippie era. The Roundhouse was kind of the centre of the hub, of the wheel of the hippie revolution, and loads of things happened there. Great groups from America, La Mama Theatre Company came and worked, and all over the world, pop stars, all sorts of avant-garde plays were put on there. It was just joy. And we had the 75th anniversary of cinema, which was celebrated there, and I got to meet Gene Kelly and Marlon Brando and King Vidor and King Kong. I actually did hold King Kong in my hand, because he's not very big, he's only about that size really. And they animated him. This is the original King Kong. And so I had a great time. the thing was that there was an actor who was collecting the tickets that I sold when he was out of work, and he thought I was an actor just by my manner. Here, take a ticket, go on, enjoy the show. No, but my manner was much jollier than that, and I used to play around and, you know, because what I just did there is what normal ticket people are like, aren't they? And when you go to the theatre, can I have a ticket, please? Yeah, what do you want? Well, that's in there. Yeah, have you been to British theatre? That's what they were. Anyway, I was a bit jollier. And because I was jollier, the other guy thought I must be an actor. In Britain, if anyone's jolly, they're either an actor or mad. Have you seen our weather? Have you experienced it? So he thought I was an actor, and a director came in and asked him if he knew a young actor for his show. He said, I've got this mad show, it's wild. I need someone, and the guy said to him, he said, well, ask the guy in the box office, he's out of his head. And so Ken Campbell came up to me and asked me if I wanted to join his group. And I said yes, because I always had an inability to say no. Luckily I wasn't a girl. So anyway, I said yes and became, you know, an actor. That's how it happened. I just went off and became an actor. And somehow I could do it. I fitted in. And I haven't looked back, because I dare, they're all chasing me.
So getting back to Doctor Who, what was the atmosphere like for you when you took over for Colin? Did you feel a lot of pressure taking on the role after everything that happened with Colin, or are you just like, I'm going to come in and make this mine? Or what was the mood like when you took over the role?
Well, I didn't know much about what had happened before. I was totally ignorant, because I'd lost touch with Doctor Who, and I didn't really read the tabloids, and so I had no idea that something bad had happened, something uncomfortable, and so I just came in and took over the job. And it was only when I was doing it I learned that there was certain unhappinesses had happened before. But I decided to make it my own, because that's all I could do, really, because I had no idea what others had done. I had vague memories of Patrick and John Pertwee and, you know, Tom, but I just had to make my own. There was a feeling, though, that it was unloved by the powers that be at the BBC. And I was determined, as was, you know, the producer and the script editor, that we should try and conquer that and make them love us again. And we felt that they were beginning to love us. We knew that the public were beginning to love us, but then they took it off, you know, but they eventually did kill it for a while, but not forever. So.
But you were great in the role. You were incredible.
Thank you.
Now, one of the nice things about your Doctor is just the way you just shifted gears, where your first season it's playful and whimsical and mysterious, and then it got really dark. Yeah. And I was just wondering, at what point did you just decide, I'm going to do a shift on the character and take it in a whole new direction? What?
Well, it was when I first got the part, because I was sort of out of touch with the universe of Doctor Who. I didn't know what to do with it, and I just arrived with my bag of tricks, you know, to be the Doctor. And then when I got time to study it, when I was learning it, I thought, wait a minute, there's more to this character than just being, you know, a kind of Chaplin-esque clown or a Keaton clown. There's much more I could do with this. So that's when I asked the script editor if we could change it, make it darker. It took a season and a half to change it, because it was like turning a tanker in the ocean. New scripts had already been written or planned, and so it took a little time for it to arrive. But that was almost, you know, after the first couple of stories, I suddenly realized what I wanted to do with it very quickly, but it took a little while to arrive. So that was it, really.
And you were the Doctor when Doctor Who turned 25. How was that like? I know they did Silver Nemesis as sort of a celebration of that, but how do you think that anniversary went in general in terms of the history of the show?
Well, it didn't. I mean, I didn't go. They didn't celebrate it as much as they're celebrating the 50th. They hardly celebrated it, really. They hardly noticed it, the BBC. They just let it go by. But, we did.
And we're going to open this up for questions in a second. So everybody, if you have a question for Sylvester, raise your hand. You want him to raise your hand? Is that easier for you?
Yeah.
Okay. Go easy on him. Two quick questions. One, would you like to play the spoons?
I like to play the spoons. Is the Pope Argentinian?
So yeah, would you play the spoons for us?
Oh, okay.
If not, or this weekend, I can get them for you.
No.
What
was the second thing?
The second thing I was going to ask you was a little bit more serious. I just wanted your thoughts on Scottish independence, since it's been in the news lately.
Freedom! Would it be funny if I fell over?
No.
I'm just, Is it working? Yeah. All right. Okay. Now, what are we doing? We're going to try and go forward, but it's not working. I know why. Needs to be switched on. Yeah, there it is. Bye. Now, I'll just come around, put your hands up, and I know you want me to play the spoons. Whee! Nearly got him. And I'll come and sit here. And, could you move that alien there? Whee!
Lovely to see you again. As many of our audience probably knows, the BFI has been doing programs showing old Doctor Who episodes and having people come and speak about the series and their time on the series. And I know that you and Sophie were able to do that. And I wanted to ask what that experience was like for you and how it was and what you did, because most of us wouldn't have had the opportunity to have seen it.
All right, well, yeah, is it not nowadays international? Does it not go all over the world? It's filmed. But the BFI is the British Film Institute, and it was great to do. It's a great honour, really. I mean, where is everybody? Where have they all gone? I don't know where they gone. Anyway, whee! Boing, boing, here we are. You thought you got away. No, it was really nice. Sophie and I enjoyed it very much. In a way, it was a bit like a convention, because we just, answer questions, watch the film. It was moving, and it was also kind of rather, it was moving because I've just been moving, and that's how moving it was. Yes. And so it was moving, and it was kind of, to think that after all these years, people really appreciate Doctor Who, and that was nice. I don't know how, you've got to come to me, because otherwise I'll kill 5 people trying to get to you.
Sorry. How did it feel to be like the last classic Doctor before they shut it off and eventually restarted it?
Hell. Yeah, I was going to say climb aboard and we go for a ride, and I'll tell you. Yeah, get on the back. Get on the back, hang on. And I'll answer your question. Are you okay? Well, anyway, the thing is that it was very sad, really. I mean, I was quite, at the time, we didn't know. I mean, I believed it would have to come back, because I knew the fans wanted it, but didn't necessarily mean it would come back. So it was a bit kind of sad that it would come to an end. To be known as the man who killed Doctor Who. And if I drive faster, I might kill you. So are you the 9th Doctor? I don't want to. How do you know I don't want to kill the 9th Doctor? Anyway, there we are. That's $3, please. Please.
Hello. Do you prefer bigger audiences like this or small enclosed audiences like the last time I saw you was in a pub in London?
Well, I prefer a pub in London. But do I prefer? No, I like big audiences. No, it's lovely to come and meet a lot of people. I'm turning around, so I'm going to run over you. Could you please get out of my way? Didn't kill anyone. No, it's nice. It's great. The bigger the audience, the better, really. But it's nice. Well, all of it's nice, you know, pubs and stuff. Yeah, I'll go over here. If you can come a bit towards me, you know, so I don't have to kill so many people to get to you.
Hello, I was actually wondering if you were magically put in charge of casting Doctor who would you pick for the role out of any actor?
Peter Garibaldi. I don't know, who would I pick? Well, I mean, Peter is a great piece of casting, but as I said earlier, I'd really love to have had Billy Connolly come out and swear at the planets. That would have been good.
I was just wondering, when you were filming Doctor Who, what did you consider to be the target audience that you were, who did you think were most of your audience? And the reason why I ask is because at the time, I was 7 and you were my first Doctor, so this is a great thrill for me.
All right, you were 7 and I was your 7th Doctor too. Who was the target audience? Well, I suppose in Britain, the target audience was it was a family shared show. I mean, originally it started off as a show for children, for science, to encourage science interest in children, and they wanted it to be educational. And then suddenly the whole family found something in it, and it became a huge family show. So in a way, that was our target audience, and we were very much aware that it was, you know, a teenage audience, and at the time we wanted to do stories that had some meaning. And you know, the Remembrance of the Daleks was all about race, and we didn't want to hit people on the head over it, but just it was in there somewhere. Paradise Towers was about, you know, putting people in housing. Big houses, big tall towers and stuff like that. And wow, the other one, there was one about Thatcher. What was it? This is terrible for you cameramen, isn't it? I've been here, this is my 3rd year, you know that I never stay on the stage. I mean, you should all right, oh great. I hope that answers some of your questions.
Hello. If you had a chance to be in a multi-doctor, would you have wanted to be in a multi-doctor story? If it was possible during your run?
Yeah, no, I've always thought it would be nice to do multi-doctor stories, because, again, the fans like it, don't you? Yeah. And, you know, they like it, and so that's really good that they like it, and I think that's why we should have done it, and I'm a bit disappointed that they're not going to do it, as far as I know, for the 50th anniversary one. But there is something that we doctors are going to try and put together to give you a little gift. But we're not going to tell you what it is, because it would spoil it.
Of all the evil characters you came up against on your show, which one would not like to see in real life?
Which one would I not like to see in real life? Well, I don't know. I mean, the Master, I suppose. Yeah, the Master, especially Anthony Amy. I met him in real life. He was actually a nice man. He actually was a nice man. Although he did profess that he wanted only ever to play the Master ever again. That's all he wanted to do. Yeah, he used to go to conventions and tell young ladies his phone number, and then when they phoned him up, he'd pick up the phone and go, "Hello, this is the boss." And then he'd have a great time. So anyway, yeah, I think that's the one I would have liked.
What was your idea or your thoughts on the Cardinal Master plan to add more mystery back to the Doctor and make him one of the triumvirate for this Time Lord Society?
Yeah, no, I thought that was good. I like that idea. I mean, they call it the cardinal plan, but the fact is that it was something that we both thought up. I remember saying I wanted to try and bring back this mystery that the first Doctor had, and the only way to do that was to peel, a layer of like an onion and peel the skin off and create a whole new thing. So that's what I was. Oh look, that's me on the screen. No, you can hardly see me. I should wear brighter clothes next time. No, I liked the way that was going to go. We did the Big Finish. Again, it was my idea to do that. Big Finish stories, fill in the ones that we might have done. But because of the fact that Doctor Who had been brought back and it had gone in a completely different journey, we couldn't actually recreate that master plan that you're talking about. We just kind of did bits of other stories that we might have done in the 4th season.
I was just curious how it was to work with Paul McGann in the American movie and the production values and how the American audiences and the American production values were different from the British.
Well, I mean, for one thing, it was the dressing rooms. I mean, the BBC used to change in the toilet, but I mean, when I got to Vancouver, they gave me a Pantechnicon, and I had a whole suite in this Pantechnicon. My whole family, I thought, would move them over. We could live in that forever. Really, it was so big. That was great. I really, that was a treat. Working with Paul McGann, well, he was an old friend. I knew Paul, and I like him very much. I mean, I know he's a bit older and a bit uglier than me, but someone's got to do the job. And so when he took over, it was it was great to hand it over to a friend. Obviously, the Americans put money into it, so all that lovely stuff of luxury, of getting it, stage. They put, well, you never know, aliens, come in all sorts of shapes and sizes. It was nice that put this in 5-star hotels and you could pick up your phone in Canada and say, could I have my car warmed up and could you drive it up to the front door? And they did. All that luxury. At the BBC, they'd say, how do I get there? They said, get on a bus. There we are. You put your hand up.
I was wondering, do you still hold the world record for longest time with a ferret down your trousers?
Well, it just so happens. Henry got a ferret with him? Oh, what a pity. Otherwise, I would have tried to show you break the record. We made this up. This was not real. We invented this silly stunt. What happened was that we were creating this stunt show called An Evening with Sylvester McCoy, the Human Bomb. And the idea was I was a little skinny stunt man who did everything. I exploded bombs in my chest, set light to my head, blew fire. I tried to break my own world record for having ferrets down my trousers. I banged nails up my nose. I slept on a bed of nails. I did levitation. I did all sorts of things. And it was just all for fun. Now, the reason why we did ferrets was that we went to various stuntmen in Britain and found out they gave us their secrets on how to do certain things. And we thought we'd like to create our own, stunt. And Ken Campbell kept ferrets. And he'd heard about a guy, a barman in Stoke, who'd been bet 10 shillings, that's old English money, that he couldn't keep a ferret down his trousers, and he lost the bet. And so Ken said, hey, it'd be really good if we could try and create that. So we did. We got ferrets, but the thing was, it was all secret. It was all a big secret. We had a cigarette pocket in there. It was no danger. But we were doing it in Liverpool, just outside Liverpool, a place called Kirby, and it's a real cowboy town. Really dangerous place. The last time the Arts Council of Liverpool sent the Philharmonic Orchestra in, only 5 came out alive, that kind of thing. So they sent the roadshow in, and they said you know, and we were followed by a paper, one of those Sunday tabloid papers, and we were around doing all our stuff, and it all went very well, but then they exposed us in the paper on the Sunday. They said, yes, this might be fun, but is it art? You know, the arts were paying for the Ken Campbell Roadshow to go around sticking ferrets down their trousers, and it described sticking ferrets down your trousers in great detail. Then suddenly, overnight, all over, you're leaving, why? What have I said? Come back, I got you myself. So we were starting to, they were reported that we were sticking ferrets down our trousers, you see, and suddenly everybody all over Britain started sticking ferrets down their trousers. Now we'd only invented it wasn't real, but overnight it became a real thing, and people were on television with 23 ferrets down their trousers. I mean, it was a joke. I'm very proud of that joke. I took it so seriously.
Thank you. You were my favorite Doctor. I loved the interaction between you and Ace. It was awesome. My question is, what was your inspiration to go for the role as the Doctor? But also, what was your inspiration to go for the role as Radagast the Brown? Because that makes my heart happy to see the Hobbit, to see you as Radagast the Brown.
Well, thank you. I mean, you know, it was a lot of poo that attracted me, really, you know. Having bird poo all down me. That was one of the things. That's a big, long question, that was. Lots of... I mean, but working with Ace, with Sophie, I'd stipulated that for many years, being a strong feminist, I thought that the Doctor Who companion tended to be a bit of a screamer. You know, Doctor, I mean, originally the companion was there so that the audience could find out what the Doctor was thinking. You know, that's her job, is saying, Doctor, what's happening? And he'd say this, that, next thing, and they'd find out. But I wanted one that was like more, you know, kind of had more fun. And so when Sophie came along, she fitted the bill absolutely, and became, and we became great friends. I mean, she laughed at all my jokes. She still does. You'd think she'd have given up by now. So that was great working with her. Why did I do the job of the Doctor? Well, because it was one of the great TV roles in Britain, and it was worth having a go at. Radagast the Brown, well, to work with Peter Jackson was, you know. I had been up for Bilbo Baggins, and I got it, I screen tested. And what happens was that they screen test you, and then they look at a lot of people, and then they slowly whittle it down. And they whittled it down to 2. And for 6 months, there were 2 of us. I was one, and some other fellow was the other. The other fellow turned out to be in home, and he got it. So I never got Bilbo Baggins. But it was the beginning of my journey towards Radagast the Brown. Because they remembered me. They obviously quite liked me if they got me down to 2. And then when I went to meet them and they offered me the job, they said to me, we've written you a bigger part than Bilbo Baggins. And so it's synchronicity and a good thing that you never got Bilbo Baggins. And you can bird whistle. Where can I get to that you can get to me? Ooh.
So earlier you mentioned Big Finish, and in November they're releasing their multi-Doctor 50th anniversary story. I was wondering if you could talk a bit about recording that and, you know, hopefully give us some hints about what's going to happen in it.
Well, what it was like is, it was like standing in front of, ooh, someone's stolen a microphone. My God! Where's it gone? Who's got it? Is it you? You got it? Where is it? What? You shook it, that lady there? Not man, I can't see, I'm blind. Anyway, no, what it was, doing the big finish, just like going, Ace, where do we go next? I don't know. You go and tell me. Well, just talking into a microphone, really. Sorry, I'm trying to be clever. And I'm failing miserably. But it was great that someone's celebrating, 50th anniversary with all the doctors. Although it was a bit smelly being in the room with, Patrick Troughton and, Ooh, that's bad, isn't it? Listen, you Americans make Breaking Bad. Don't laugh at mine. Which I love, by the way, Breaking Bad.
If the show continued and it had actually gone to Gallifrey and Frydon Academy, what do you think would have happened when she got back to the TARDIS with you?
She'd have been really bossy.
That, of course.
Well, I don't know, really. It would have been interesting. Maybe she would have become the next Doctor, the first female Doctor. This debate goes on and on and on. I don't know quite what to think about that, really. As long as I can play Mrs. Marples, then someone can play the Doctor. Sherlock Holmes, would that be female? I don't know. But is the Doctor a male? And I suppose in a way, because it's an alien, they can take on any shape. It could be a dog. Would you like to come to me, the hand? Yeah. Oh, you're bringing a hat.
When I first saw you in the Hobbit movie, what really blew my mind was your brief fight scene and the chase scene. Are we going to be seeing more action like that in the next Hobbit movie?
Oh, listen, I can't tell you what's going to happen in the next Hobbit movie. What happens is that Gadriel runs off with Radagast and the rabbit. I mean, that's my fantasy. That's what I want to happen in the Hobbit movie. Come on, rabbits. Let's run, rabbit, run, rabbit. Let's run with Gadriel on the back. I don't really know, because I haven't seen the next one, and it's taken such a long time making them. I can't remember what I did. I think the rabbits are a pair. I must say, when I got the part, and I arrived in Wellington on my first day, I was just acting all by myself. It was just me and a stuffed hedgehog. The stuffed hedgehog was called Simon? Sebastian. Yeah, Sebastian, that's right. It was called after Peter James's PA. Not Peter Jackson. Peter James is someone else. My brain is going, anyway, jet lag. Anyway, I arrive, I'm doing this scene, there's just me and a stuffed animal. It's my scene. I mean, it's just me. I spent a whole day, this is great. I'll be up on the screen all by myself with some stuffed animal. Then I go and see this film. I sit there, and this bloody stuffed animal steals the bloody scene. I mean, those Wizards of Weta, they created this lovable little creature who I hate. It was my scene. Now it's Sebastian's. And then those rabbits. Been up staged all over the place. Animated animals. Anyone up here want to ask a question? Oh, good.
So, I really, really like listening to you and the audios, and I just wanted to ask really quick. Oh yes, he's touching a baby back here. It's really, really cute. Actually, you know what? I've forgotten my question, but thank you very much for being so awesome.
Thank you, yes. Well, Yeah, let's see what kind of forgotten question it could have been. Yeah, watch out for the beer bottles, there's lots of them. What are you doing? Oh, there's a hand, I'm coming down. Actually, it's funny, on this machine, it's actually got, well, it looks like rabbits. When it's got a tortoise, but it's actually a hare. So the tortoise, and it goes slow, and you go wee, and it goes fast. But I'm pretending it's rabbits.
During the last season that they were filming for Sarah Jane Adventures, there had been some discussion of bringing you and Sophie in to do a cameo. Had you heard anything about that, or had that been brought up with y'all?
No, I hadn't heard that I had been talking about bringing me. I had heard that from Sophie that they were thinking of maybe bringing Sophie in, or maybe taking Sophie. Yeah, I think Sophie wanted to believe that as well, and I thought it was true. But it would be nice to come back and do it, yeah.
Sort of have a question. I'm kind of new to this, but...
What you do is you say, excuse me, can you... end of question mark, and then that's it, that's a question.
Now that you're making the Doctor older again, what would happen if, say, after Peter Capaldi and he regenerated, could he regenerate back into you?
Well, there's no reason why I couldn't. A paradox in the time-space continuum sounds fun to me. But I mean, yeah, it'd be easy because he's a Scot. Hello, I'm the Doctor. Hello, I'm the Doctor. Number 13, 14, or whatever it would be. Yes. Yeah, there's no reason I can see. There's no reason there. Well, it can't be anything really. So it'd be great if that happened. Although I think maybe I'm getting a bit too old. I'd have to have one of these. These are good fun. The Doctor with these racing. The Emperor, the Daleks, Davros all over the place. We could do, we could get our sticks and do a jousting.
Sylvester, we have time for one more.
Oh.
I know.
That's a lot of pressure. I'm noticing that you're very movement-based. Did you bring that to Radagast Brown, or did Peter Jackson actually ask you to be so movement-based because that's who you are?
Yeah, no, I think I am physical, and that's why I can't walk. I'm pretty physical. I like movement, and you have to restrain me from doing too many of the stunts. Most of them actually were done by a wonderful guy. Tom Walk, who was the understudy. But yeah, he asked me to bring all that. He knew me because he's a big fan of Doctor Who, as you may have known or not know. He's requested that he could actually direct a Doctor Who, and he's told me himself he'd like to direct Doctor Who. At first he said it as a joke, and then everyone believed him, so now he thinks he'd like to do it. So, it would be good if he did. The thing is that he's got my costume of Doctor Who, and he's got my Radagast costume as well. It's okay, it's okay. Don't worry, don't worry. I was just about to tell a story. Anyway. Yeah, Peter's got my Doctor Who costume. He's also got my Radagast the Brown costume. But he's not going to get hold of my street clothes, I'm telling you that. They're mine. Here we are. Thank you very much.
Sylvester is over at the Walk of Fame, and also he'll be here later this weekend with Peter.